Welcome back to the channel, and I'm joined by Nathan Kelly, who has a featherweight fight coming up against Scott Pedersen on Bellator 275. The 25th of, what are we now, 23 days away, so the 25th, Friday the 25th of February. Nathan, how are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Andy, yourself?
I'm doing well. All the better for talking to you.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I like to hear. Bringing the good energy. Bringing the good energy with me.
Exactly. So 3 weeks out now from the fight. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good, man. It's kind of the last week or two, I've been really starting to see the differences in me, just in me sharpness. Not that I wasn't sharp before, but I just think I'm after bringing it up another level or two in the last week or two. With the drilling I'm doing and the sparring I'm doing and stuff like that. So this week, I feel like when you have a good week in training, like my mood is just boosted because I've been doing so well on my spars, and I've been just hitting things that I've been drilling. You know what I mean? And stuff when you actually see the stuff that you've been working on pull off, then it's like job satisfaction. You know what I mean? You're going to be happy with the results. So I'm literally doing everything I need to do, hitting all the things I need to hit, and now it's just a matter of keep doing what I'm doing for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and just bring it all into the fight now. You know what I mean? I think I'm always well drilled going into fights anyway, but I think this time around I just have a bit more there. You know what I mean? And it's going to show on the night, definitely.
100%. And what I should have said kind of in the intro was that it's going to be your Bellator debut. So
yeah,
2021 saw you had a great year. Back-to-back fights, back-to-back knockouts. There was 2 months in between that fight, and we were talking off air beforehand, and you were saying, this is my third fight in 6 months. You've had a little bit of time now between your last one. Has that given you the opportunity to put in a full camp ahead of your debut here? You're talking there about, putting together techniques and things like that. Have you had a bit more time to kind of develop techniques and improve your game by having that little bit of extra time in between fights?
I would definitely say it has a help. Yeah, 100%. To say that's the specific reason, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, because I do the same things anyway. Even on the break, there might have been a week or two in December where with work and stuff that I didn't have the foot on the pedal as much. So, in terms of that, they're probably the only kind of 2 weeks that maybe I've took the foot off the pedal. But in terms of that, just before Christmas, I had an idea what was happening, what was going on with the Bellator gig. So I was psychologically prepared for that. So I was kind of just how you'd say switched on, even when I wasn't switched on. You know what I mean? Because so far out, I knew I had such a big night coming. So even in regards to like going on a jog, I was like fucking on the ball. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lose any time, or I'm not gonna just things like that. I was just psychologically gearing up, we'll say. You know what I mean? But in terms of drilling and stuff like that, it definitely would have helped, because I think drilling when you're not under pressure it's different to drilling under pressure in terms of having a fight, because you're not afraid to fail, you're not afraid to try things, you're not afraid to just have a gang of things that you don't normally have a go at. You know what I mean? But this time around, I've kind of just sticking to the things that I'm really good at, hitting them every day, and trying to be so well drilled that it's unstoppable. You know what I mean? And I think on the night when I'm in there, everyone's gonna see how well drilled I am, and like if it comes to me being for 3 rounds grappling them and out grappling them for 3 rounds, then so be it. And I would actually like that to happen, because I got 2 4th-round knockouts in my last fight. Now I'm not gonna have a 4th-round knockout again if it came my way, obviously. But I think it would be nice to show like how good and skilled of a mixed martial artist I am over 3 rounds as well, because I haven't really had a proper chance to do that in a few years. So that would be a nice one to show as well. Like I think, obviously fans want to see knockouts and submissions or finishes and stuff, but I think from my own thing, not that I'm saying I'm going to stall it for 3 rounds and not try to finish them, but in terms of showing everyone else how well-rounded I am, I'd like to do that as well. But don't get me wrong, if I knock him out, I knock him out, and that's happy days as well, in and out job.
And you mentioned your last fight there. So if anyone hasn't seen your previous two fights in last year, there was a 9-second knockout over Roger Lopez. You finished
Yeah,
Shamrock in the first round. And I can't remember which fight it was. It was the post-fight interview. You were saying, I prepare for 3 rounds. I'm preparing for 3 rounds. When you talk there about, preparing and having that, when you've got a fight, there's a switch that kind of turns.
yeah,
When you're prepared for those 3 rounds and then the fights go so quick and you get that first round knockout and even better 9 seconds in the Roger
yeah.
Lopez fight, what's going through your mind? Or like, what are the emotions like when it's got to be like a big dump, I'm assuming, of emotions?
Yeah, do you know what? I'll be dead honest with you. After the Roger fight, I was I was almost kind of dissatisfied. You know what I mean? Because like I put a lot of hard work in for that. Now, obviously, a 9-second knockout was great for the highlight reel. It's great for publicity, all that jazz. But I actually thought it was going to be a fucking 3-round grappling match. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought it was going to be. And like I said, the opportunity presented itself, and I caught him with some nice shots and put him away. But after the fight, like I was, my mates are all there, and they were all geared, and I was came out to them, and they were all on a quality buzz, and it's just like it was very anticlimactic for me. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, what? Even my mates were saying, what? We traveled 2 hours up here for 9 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, for fuck's sake. And I was like, what can you do? But yeah, it was very anticlimactic.
That when you cut across you, do you feel almost like you're still in fight mode, like you're still ready to kind of go?
Yeah, like I actually crashed because I had so much energy still left inside me that I just wanted to go home. You know what I mean? I was like saying to my mates, we'll go out, we'll do this and that, we'll celebrate. And then I was just like, fuck this, I just want to go home. I went home, all my family were in my sister's house and they were all on some buzz. I went back and I was just like, I was just sorry. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just want to go to bed now. Whereas the Shem one was a bit different because of the build up and there's a title and I had more people there and I was just on a better buzz that day. You know what I mean? I just think that one, like, even though they were like 3 minutes in the difference of finishes, but that one just felt more satisfying. You know what I mean? As opposed to the 9-second one. But like I said, the aim is to get in and get out as quick as possible without taking damage. So I'm grateful for the last 2 fights that I've took fuck all damage, you know what I mean? All I took was like a few body kicks against Shem, which, I'll take a body kick all day. It's just a kick to the body. Like, so in terms of that, I'm grateful for that, you know what I mean? But yeah, the Roger one was dissatisfying, but also satisfying because it's nice to get a highlight reel finish. And the Shem one was definitely satisfying. It's like 2 different things on a different spectrum, we'll say, you know what I mean?
And after the Shamrock fight, so you won the Clan Wars title. You signed for Bellator, and now we've got the Scott Pedersen fight. Signing for Bellator and getting to fight in that platform, it's probably second biggest, I would say, promotion in the world. Does that put a little extra pep in your step going in there and knowing that you're going to be fighting in front of a sold-out 3 arena?
It does, definitely. I'm not going to lie, it does, because I don't know. It's like it's not like the way my brain works. I'm not trying to just use Bellator as motivation. You know what I mean? You should be motivated for a fight anyway. But the grand stage makes it a bit more, how you'd say, interesting. You know what I mean? And I think that having me, like, this is the first time I fought in Dublin in a good few years as well. I've always fought at the North, I've always fought elsewhere. So just to have like my home crowd there, that gives me more energy than, like, no disrespect to Bellator, but fighting on Bellator like that, like just fighting in front of so many friends and family will give me more of a buzz than just the name Bellator alone. But at the same time, it's fucking Bellator, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's no Clan Wars, it's nothing. I'm getting a decent paycheck for what I'm doing, and it's mainly for me. It's just the stage I'm on to show how skilled I am. This is what I appreciate more. You know what I mean? I'm more tuned into showing this grand audience how like skilled I am and what I'm capable of in there against like a tough opponent like Scott. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna use the energy from obviously the crowd, the Bellator, like walkout, the whole lot. You know what I mean? I'm gonna like just enjoy all that for what it is, and then just use all that energy to like finish this fella. Hopefully in the first round it would be nice, but just fucking going through him and win in such a dominant manner that, like, even if it does go to the judges, everyone's like, yeah, grand, that's a handy one for Nate, you know what I mean? But yeah, so man, it's still a bit surreal. I'm trying not to think about the Bellator thing too much because I don't want to run away with my thoughts and say, oh, I'm all that, you know what I mean, I'm fighting for Bellator, because at the end of the day, it's only a promotion that's giving you a chance to fight, you know what I mean? So as long as I beat the guy that's in front of me and Bellator are happy with me, then who knows what they might want me back then in the future, which I would like to happen. And so it's just about going in and showing everyone what I'm capable of doing and making a nice statement.
And for the Pedersen fight, is that a one fight deal then, or are you in a multi-fight deal with Bellator at the moment?
I just want the one fight deal for this one, which I'm fairly happy with, you know what I mean? Because let's say I fought him, won, and then took down damage, and let's say just something in Europe popped up a month or two later for, like, that was a good opportunity, I'd fucking jump on that as well, you know what I mean? I'm not one to sit around and, like, be exclusively tied down, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if I did get offered a multi-fight contract, you'd have to reconsider it, you know what I mean? Because it's the biggest promotion in Europe at the minute, when they do the Europe shows, so outside UFC in my eyes. So you're gonna be considering them. But in terms of, for now, we'll just get this one out the way and then see what other things present themselves.
You're a proud Finglas man, Nathan. What's it?
Yeah.
What does it mean for you, or what will it mean for you to, you know, be able to represent your community, walking out? You said all your family and friends will all be there in the 3 arena to support you. What's it mean to represent your community of Finglas?
It means a lot because, like, you know, it has a bad rep around here, and even just looking at the kind of younger generations nowadays, I just see them all falling into the same kind of, like, system or of, like, hanging out on the streets, you know, being up to no good. And, you know, I actually don't see much, it's terrible to say, I don't see much hope for them in general, you know what I mean? So to be able to, like, have some sort of, I'm not going to say, like, light to lead the way, that's, like, I'm not saying I'm going to inspire everyone in what I'm doing, but you might catch 3 or 4 people from an estate or two around the area who take on board what I'm doing and appreciate what I'm doing. And not that they want to be MMA fighters or whatever, but they might have a craft that they want to commit themselves to fully. And I'm just like an example of what could happen to you if you just commit your time to something that you're really passionate about, you know what I mean? So I'm grateful that I can lead the way in that sense, but, you know, it's just the whole buzz in the area is different when it's something like this, because everyone has seen me grow up through this sport in the area. Those who don't know me now know me, you know what I mean? People who know me all my life have been with me along the way. So the buzz for them is, like, more exciting than what it probably is for me in terms of, like, fighting on Bellator, you know what I mean? But I'm slowly getting, like, the greater Finglas community on board as well, you know what I mean? So I have a little Finglas army with me coming on the 25th now as well. So that's definitely going to be known, and they will definitely, now when I walk out, everyone will know Finglas is in the building. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think it's amazing for a community like that to have, you know, to be able to see someone say, look, there's one of our own fighting in front of a stadium on live TV. You know, I think it's amazing. And I think if anyone hasn't read it, we did an article together. I wrote it, but it was all you, really, about your mental health and about your struggles with your mental health, and you know, you were in a bit of a dark place and you got yourself out of it. How are you feeling? And the reason why I bring that up is because it's an example for people to look to say, you know, this person may look like they're on top of the world, they're, you know, a professional fighter, winning belts and stuff, but everyone goes through their own struggles. So I think you're a shining example there. How are you feeling at the moment? How are you doing mentally? And are you in a good space right now?
Yeah, well, at the moment I am anyway. Yeah, I can't lie and say, oh, no, I'm looking for sympathy and shit. But every day, most days are good for me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, most days really are good. But then again, depending on how strong my body is at the training, depending on how much sleep I get, I could always wake up the next day and I could have a shit day. You know, like everyone does. You know what I mean? You can't have a great day every day. You know what I mean? You can't be motivated every day. You can't every day that you want the day to be good, it's unrealistic. So even the bad days that I have are less bad. And the oil class bad days for me now are just boring days. You know what I'm saying? So like, as opposed to me sitting around thinking and like digging myself into a psychological black hole, then nowadays them days are just kind of, I've nothing to do for a few hours until training. I've nothing to do. What am I gonna do? I don't know. And I might just spend me time scrolling on the phone. You know what I mean? And that's as bad as the day gets for me now. Bar something really drastically bad happens, and then like I'm just in the middle of it all. But especially since the Bellator thing, and well, since I made the return to MMA and stuff, I've just gotten so much better and stuff. I've kicked bad habits. I've disciplined myself in regards to me training. I'm more disciplined in regards to me diet. I just have a better. I'm more focused now than I've ever been, and you know, it's just I'm using that as an incentive to keep doing what I'm doing, and using that as an incentive to achieve more than what I've already achieved, you know. So in terms of me mental health, I feel like I'm in the best place I've been in a while, you know what I mean? And I don't think, like I said, unless something drastic happens, that I'll be changing that mentality anytime soon.
I think we're seeing a shift in sports people and fighters specifically being more open about their mental health. I spoke with Brian Moore recently, and he very vulnerably delved into, you know, the panic attacks he was having, not being able to sleep at all. And then this is, you know, on fight week, and then going home and finally seeking therapy. Like, do you feel it's important, or I guess why did you feel the need to open up about your own mental struggles?
You know, I felt the need for me to open up about was because, like, I'm not the type of person to pretend I'm all that, you know what I mean? Like, everyone knows me for who I am. Everyone knows me for like what I do, basically, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not one to, maybe when I was younger and in my teens, I was a bit more like, I don't know, uptight, and probably, you know, when you're a teenager, you don't want anyone to think of you in a bad way. You just want to impress everyone and this and that. You don't want anyone to see it as weak. You know what I mean? I was like that as a teenager myself.
You don't want to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, like you don't want anyone to see you in the light that you don't want them to see you. You know what I mean? And but obviously, since I matured, since I got older, I've had different opinions on that, and I've read books and I've understood different things about the psychological mind and stuff like that. So when I got to the point where I was like, you know what, like I said at that time, I was self-reflecting, and you know, I just thought to myself, okay, like, why not just share the little story and just see what happens? You know what I mean? People might take it positively, people might take it negatively. I don't know, but I just thought it'd be nice to open up, like, from my perspective, and just show that like I'm not that special. You know what I mean? Like, I've been down, I've been up, I've been in the middle ground, I've been all over the shop, but I'd never tell anyone that, yeah, I'm all this, I'm all that, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I just a body with full of bones, you know what I mean? No one really cares. But I just thought it would be nice to kind of just like let people know, even those who are seemingly successful, that they're all human, you know what I mean? We all feel down, we all feel emotions, you know what I mean? Whether people want to admit to it publicly or not, that's on their doing. But in terms of mine, I just thought it'd be nice to share a story and just be honest with people, so people know a bit more about me as well and where I come from and that, you know what I mean? Like, life isn't always easy, you know what I mean? And sometimes when life does, you know, box the head off, you will say, in terms of MMA, you have to just take your punches and just, you've got hit by life and try come back at life with your own positive reinforcements.
You know, the perception isn't reality. So like what you see on social media is not the true story of what someone's going through or who they are. And another aspect of that in MMA is, you know, I think that people seem to think that, or maybe some people think that all MMA fighters, you know, they're on big money, they're doing this full time, when the reality is a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are just trying to get by and just trying to make their name. Can you speak a little bit? I know you mentioned your job there. Am I right in saying that you work as a manager in Aldi?
Yeah, I'm a manager in Aldi. Like, it's funny how it came about. Like when I first before I went to the IMAFs actually in 2016, I started working in Aldi, and that's actually how I began to pay for the IMAFs. I paid for it all myself, saved up all the money, flat out and work, flat out training. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I did it, turned pro then. I was like, yeah, I can manage it. My manager at the time gave me a great rota to train and all that jazz, because he wanted me to succeed and do well and stuff like that. So that was great. And then I took the break from fighting, and then I came back, and I was a bit deeper into the Aldi life, you know what I mean? So it was a bit harder to get the same balance that I had before. So I was kind of getting frustrated in terms of like my hours on the mat as opposed to the hours in the job. At the end of the day, I was getting paid well by Aldi, which is, primarily like a human thing. We need income to live and all that jazz. But, income meant nothing to me because I wasn't like getting the hours on the mat that I wanted, you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck, I'd rather make no money than that. And obviously that's stupid, and obviously you need income. But hopefully now when I get this one out the way, doors will open for me to start getting some other income, and then I can hopefully in the future leave my job, which is ideal for me, and just live the full-time life, you know what I mean? Because that's obviously the dream for me. But in terms of like low paying contracts and stuff like that, they're just things that like obviously you have to accept it as what it is. As when you're an apprentice electrician or plumber or whatever, carpenter, whatever you're doing, you're starting off on the low stuff, and then when you earn your respect and you earn your tricks of the trade, you'll get a higher pay. And it's the same thing in terms of MMA. I feel that when you're starting off, you're going to be, on your buttons, struggling to get by, but patience, perseverance, dedication, discipline will all lead you to the road to success. So it's just a matter of you staying on that path and just believing in yourself that one day you can make a living from it. Obviously, that's like the idealistic approach, you know what I mean? That one day you might have all this, but you still might not have any, you still might struggle to get by, you know what I mean? So I think in terms of some fighters who struggle to get by, they need to find that little side hustle, maybe that like do their PTs, do their like coach in the gym, do something just to have that bit of security, you know what I mean, that you might not get from fighting. So like I'm trying to like paint a picture for the maybe kind of the less regular MMA fans who don't really know much about it, but that's kind of the best opinion I have on it, you know what I mean? I can't speak for everyone because I don't know what everyone makes personally, but in terms of those who maybe are on a bit of a lesser contract, I think that's the best route to go for them until they can get that big payday in the future,
And thankfully the tide is turning in Ireland, but MMA is a sport that's often been castigated in the country. What is the reaction, or what was the reaction from your colleagues or from your bosses when they find out you're an MMA fighter?
Me boss now, me current boss, I don't know. Like I think like at the end of the day, they see the joy that it brings me, you know what I mean? And they see how like some of my closer friends at work, they're really buzzing for me. You know what I mean? People like one of the lads at work, Aaron, he's with me since I started working in Aldi, and funnily enough, we're in the same store as is like the likes of Adriani and stuff like that as well. But they're really happy for me. In terms of my main manager, I'd say she's happy for me, but she still needs to run a business. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I need 2 weeks off to do this, or I need 2 weeks off to do that. You know what I mean? So, but she has to run a business. But in terms of me succeeding, they obviously want to see me succeed. You know what I mean? And like even they know that like you don't want to be stuck in all the other life. You know what I mean? It's good money for the temporary process, but if you can get out and do something that you really enjoy, more so to the point, I think that's more beneficial. So that's what I'm looking to do now at the minute. I'm looking to try sort out other ventures outside of work and even training, and try open up some doors for myself to get me into a position where I don't have to work there anymore, which I hope is sooner.
Sure, they're saving costs on security team anyway.
Yeah, I'm not even no word of a lie, right? This is a true story, right? So I start working in this store out on Bayside, and fucking one day, I don't know what it was. I literally was just in bad form, and I was real antsy, you know what I mean? I was in the arm for a fight, you know what I mean? I was actually in the arm for a full-on fight, And I was beside the entrance door to the store, and one of the lads gets on the headset and goes, "Oh, this lad's after walking through the tills with 2 CCTV cameras." You know, just like doing a Lego with them. And I was like, I was beside the front door, so I just let him go out the front door and chase them. And I'm not messing with you. I rocketed after this fella. He fucking shit himself. I heard him like squeal like a girl and all. And he dropped the cameras, and I ended up getting them back. And I was talking to the manager, the area manager. And I was like, "What's the story about getting fucking security? Like, I don't want to be doing this." And he's like, "The more you keep doing this, the less we need security." I was like, "Well, then fuck you. I'll be letting them rob the shop if that's the case." Putting my neck on the line every time. Like, well, it's funny how it goes. But as long as I'm there, I'm obviously doing the right things, and you don't want to get security. So we'll deal with that until we we'll leave it as that until we come to a different solution. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's a great story. Look, this card is stacked from top to bottom with Irish fighters. A lot of SBG fighters. What has the buzz been like in the gym with so many, gearing up towards a fight night?
It's good now. It's good. Like, even like before I fought in Bellator, just from the outside looking in, when I was fighting on Clan Wars, stuff like that, just seeing how when the other guys are preparing for the fights in Bellator, I was getting a buzz from it. You know what I mean? Because it just creates good energy and a lot of people on the mats and stuff. But now that I'm actually involved in it, it just creates a different kind of buzz, and everyone's there pushing each other on. Everyone wants to bring each other up levels. So yeah, the buzz is actually sick at the minute. I'm not gonna lie, it's really good.
And who have you been primarily sparring with or training with as your main sparring partners in SBG?
I try and mix with everyone. I really do. I try to go with all bodies. Like for today, I sparred Kieran Clark today. That was my simulation spar, and that was a quality spar. I'm not gonna lie, it was so back and forth in terms of grappling, striking, everything. We mixed it up perfectly. So rounds like that today, if you could get rounds like that all the time, the level would just shoot through the roof. You know what I mean? Because I was attacking him with wrestling, he was attacking me with wrestling. There was fence work, there was boxing, there was kicks, there was everything. You know what I mean? And they're the spars that really bring you up levels. I spar in, who else? I love to go with the kind of more experienced guys. I sparred a lot with Brian Moore actually before his last fight, and I thought that was quality. You know what I mean? Brian is a veteran, as you know, so being in there, and I wanted to test my striking skills against Brian as well. So I kind of wanted to stand on the feet with him and have a go with him on the feet, just because you won't get like pushed in rounds like that, like from like anyone else. You know what I mean? So I'm there saying to myself, like, fuck it, I'll take a few smacks off him if it means that I the next time I spar him, I'm slipping like better, or I'm getting my head off the center better and throwing more shots myself. You know what I mean? And I take each spar as a learning curve, and just try to be better for the next one all the time. You know what I mean?
And I know you're still very loyal to your old gym Cuso, and you're still training there and coaching there. But, since moving to SBG, has it afforded you that, those additional opportunities where there's just so many experienced guys on the mats and where you can have a spar off of day in, day out? Like, has it provided you more opportunities in that sense?
Yeah, definitely. No, I come from a jiu-jitsu background primarily in Kyuzo, which is mainly gi orientated now as well at the minute. So, I'll get I coach teenagers there at MMA. So I like to implement what I learn in SBG and show. And just kind of, so let's say, for example, I coach on a Monday in SBG, and on Monday we learn a certain technique. I'm going to drill that with the teenagers that night, so it's fresh in my head. They're drilling something good, and we all benefit from it. And then as well as that, I can kind of take different bits from the things that I get in SBG and like spread them around the Kyuzo gym and just give different ideas and stuff like that. But in terms of like sparring, obviously I'm on a pro team in SBG, so the level is obviously much more intense and higher. Like I was going from a primarily jiu-jitsu base, happy to play bottom guard, happy to be on bottom and all that jazz. And then I joined SBG thinking it was going to be all smooth. Boom, smack in the head. I'm like, bollocks, need to change up your game, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be trying to whip up triangles and arm bars from bottom and taking shots and elbows. So when I made the switch over, I just became more like top guard heavy and more wrestling heavy, and which I always kind of was. I was a very good wrestler anyway. It was tough, but now it's me whole game has changed to just like try to be on top as much as possible and just smother everyone.
There's a fight on this card that I am buzzing for, an all-Irish fight between Leah McCord and Sinead Kavanagh. And I've been asking every Irish fighter that I've been speaking to lately, what do you think? So what is your preview or prediction for that fight?
It's a tough fight. What's it? Fifth ranked or fourth ranked, is it? That's their rankings, is it?
That's correct. Lee is 4 and Sinead's 5.
They're nipping at each other's heels. They've trained with each other in the past. They prepared each other for fights. Like, I don't know how it's gonna go. I can't predict the future, obviously, but obviously, Leah has the predominantly grappling background. You know what I mean? She's really good at judo. I think she's judo black belt. I think she's only got her jiu-jitsu black belt, if I'm correct, recently. And then you have Sinead, who is just an animal on the feet. You know what I mean? Serious, heavy hands, good boxer. Like, I remember when I first joined SBG, I was doing boxing drills with Sinead, and she was lettering me out. But I was like, fucking hell, the power in this one's hands. You know what I mean? So that's definitely going to be a problem. But I think Sinead tries to stick to a right game plan and not give Leah an inch. You know what I mean? She'll do well. Whereas I think Leah has to be pushing the pace on Sinead, and not let Sinead get comfortable. So it's like that tit for tat. Who's going to be on the front foot? Who's going to be in the back foot type war? And it's going to be an exciting fight. Like who would have thought like that? One of the most exciting fights on the card is going to be like Leah and Sinead when you have Musasi and stuff like that on the card. Like that, that's a big fight as well. But they're going to be bringing their own like little intense war to the Tree Arena, which is going to be interesting because there's like a split for like who's on whose side. You know what I mean? In terms of Sinead and Leah, so we'll see what way it goes. But I just think it's going to be tit for tat, back and forth. Who gives who an inch? You know what I mean? And that's what's going to come down to on the night.
Final pick
for the fight.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Sinead. You know what I mean? Sinead's a teammate, and I think if she does what she's what she's capable of doing in the gym every day and performs on the night, then I don't see why it'll go any other way but hers. You know what I mean? So she's a hard worker. She's tough as fucking nails. Trust me when I say she is tough as nails. You physically need to knock her out to stop her. So unless Leah knocks her out or whatever, like I just don't see Sinead stopping, and that's gonna work in Sinead's favour in my eyes.
Nathan, I've kept you far too long already as it is, but we've barely actually talked about your fight. So
we'll get in there real quick.
Scott Pedersen,
yeah,
25 fight amateur veteran. Comes from a good gym, shore martial arts. How do you see? Have you watched much of him? And how do you view him as an opponent?
I've watched what I saw on YouTube on his Cage Warriors fights, and maybe it's tricky looking at all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's hard to get a proper opinion on something just from a few videos. You know what I mean? But what I've seen of him, and just checking out some of his results, like I think from what my perspective is that like when he comes up against a good grappler, he kind of struggles a bit, and he likes to stay on the outside and not be smothered by the grappler. And when he comes up against a bad grappler, he outshines them in the grappling. So I just don't see, like, because obviously I have first round knockout power in my hands. So when I land clean, I have that capability to finish him in round one, as I've shown in my last two fights. So if his plan is to stand and strike with me and keep away from me, I just don't see how it's going to end well for him, because I can land clean shots and really rattle his cage and make him panic. So then, like, if that is his game plan and I hit him hard, he's going to have to like panic wrestle or panic grapple, which I will prey on, because I'm so, like, that's what I'm best at. I'm best at making people panic and shoot for their life, we'll say. So if he shoots, he's falling right into my trap, you know what I mean? And that's where I want him to be. So if I don't knock him out, I'll definitely out grapple him. Hopefully submit if it comes to it. But I just think I'm dominating this fight from start to finish. You know what I mean? As much as he is experienced, I just think, you know, I just think I'm a different animal now than I ever was, and I'm sparring lads who are just like, you know, fucking elite level in Europe, and I just don't see how he's gonna have anything for me that I don't see every single day. You know what I mean? So on the night, I'm predicting a finish. Personally, you know what I mean? I don't know what way it's gonna come, but I do think I will finish him. If it's knockout, great. If it's submission, great. But I'm coming in for the win, gunning for it. You know what I mean? Especially with the crowd I'm bringing, I'm going to use all that energy to really, really spur me on and use it to just use that energy that I get from them just to pierce through him and pierce through his soul. And like I said, if I upset his game plan from the start, I think I can psychologically break him, which is what I want to do.
What are you looking forward to most on Friday, the 25th of February?
Just being in the cage, man. It's such a euphoric feeling being in there. You know what I mean? Especially when you have a big crowd like for you. But yeah, man, just being in there competing against a top lad and showing what I'm made of. That's what I really want to do. But you know, I have my nieces and my nephew are actually going to the fight. They're like, one is 4 or 5. I'm desperate with ages. One's 4 or 5, one is 9, and one is 13. So like to be able to lead the way for them.
The boss that had you on the cash register?
Yeah, that's all Lily. Yeah. Even today I went into the house and I was forced to colour, but beyond my will. So the fact that they're going as well, like that, I want to really make their day. You know what I mean? More than anyone's day, more than even my own day. I want to make their day. So on the night, I'll be looking forward to seeing their smiles on their faces when I come back with a nice win.
Nathan, I really appreciate the time. Nathan Kelly, SBG Ireland featherweight, taking on Scott Pedersen on Friday, the 25th of February at Bellator 275, headlined by a title fight between Gegard Mousasi and Austin Vanderford, with a plethora of Irish fighters fighting right across the card. So make sure to tune in. We'll put Nathan's Twitter details, all that stuff, social media down below. And thanks for watching. Thanks for your time,
Thanks
Nathan.
very much for having me as well, Andy. I appreciate your time.
Always.